Welcome back to The Explainer. Have you ever felt like your happiness is entirely at the mercy of whatever life throws at you? Today, we're exploring a concept that can completely rewire how you experience your daily life. We're going to unpack how our mindset dictates our happiness, and we'll do it by walking through a beautifully illustrated, centuries-old fable that holds a really profound psychological truth. Let's jump right in. Take a look at this incredibly joyful elderly woman standing right in the middle, perfectly balanced under that glowing rainbow. The warm sun is shining down on one side, cool rain is pouring on the other, but her expression, it's just absolute radiant peace. And that sets up our core thesis for today. Happiness and suffering are rarely dictated by our external circumstances. Instead, they are choices, dictated almost entirely by how we choose to frame those circumstances. Now, I know it sounds a bit like magic, doesn't it? But as you'll see, it's actually just mechanics. Section 1. Two Paths in Life. A Tale of Two Daughters. We've got a really fascinating contrast to set up here between two daughters. The older daughter makes her living selling bright, sturdy raincoats. Her entire livelihood depends on wet, stormy weather. Meanwhile, the younger daughter is surrounded by incredibly delicate, shimmering silk fabric. Her business relies on people being out and about, strolling around on clear, pleasant days to appreciate and buy her goods. So they're both incredibly hardworking, but their paths to success are fundamentally opposed. And this exact opposition is what creates the foundation for their mother's deep emotional conflict. Section 2. The Cycle of Suffering. Trapped by the Weather. You can practically feel the heat radiating right now, can't you? Look at that heavy sigh, the hunched posture on the porch, her completely exhausted expression under the blazing sun. For most of us, a bright, sunny day is a reason to celebrate. You want to get outside, you feel energized. But for this mother, the sun is not a source of joy at all. It is this heavy, oppressive weight that physically exhausts her. Why? Because her mind is entirely fixated on a perceived negative. So what's going through her head? Well, her thought process during these beautiful, sunny days is driven by pure, paralyzing panic. She's thinking, with sun like this, who is going to buy raincoats? How will my child survive? She is completely convinced her older daughter's business is going to totally tank in the heat. She cannot enjoy a single ray of sunshine because she is projecting catastrophic failure onto her daughter's life. The warmth of the day is literally eclipsed by her anxiety. Now here's where the tragic irony kicks in. You would naturally think, okay, if the sunny weather is causing all this anxiety, then a change in the weather, like a rainy day, would bring her massive relief, right? But it doesn't. A change in circumstances doesn't cure her worry. It simply shifts her anxiety onto a completely different target. The environment outside changes, but her internal state of suffering, that remains exactly the same. And here's the proof. We see tears streaming down her deeply lined face as the rain just pours outside her window. The weather she supposedly needed to help her older daughter has finally arrived, but instead of celebrating, she is agonizingly pitying her younger daughter. Her mind instantly jumps to that empty fabric stall in the downpour. With this heavy rain, who will go buy fabric? My poor youngest child. The rain, much like the sun, has just become another vehicle for her despair. Let's break down this trap she's caught in because it perfectly illustrates the incredibly destructive nature of negative framing. 1. The sun brings worry for the raincoat seller. 2. The rain brings worry for the fabric seller. And 3. The ultimate result is constant, inescapable suffering, regardless of what reality actually throws at her. No matter the weather, she actively, even if unconsciously, finds a reason to suffer. She has built a psychological prison for herself where literally every single outcome is a losing one. Section 3. Unexpected Help. A New Perspective Approaches. Enter our disruptor. A young man, just a stranger passing by, steps onto her shadowed porch, and he notices something really profound. She is constantly frowning, weighed down by sorrow, regardless of whether it's pouring rain or brightly shining. He steps into her world to ask a simple question, hoping to break the pattern she has been stuck in for who knows how long. So what could he possibly say to cure a worry that exists in literally both rain and shine? Think about it. If you can't change the weather, and she is miserable in both conditions, what on earth is the fix? I really want you to ponder this riddle for a second, because the answer is the absolute golden key to this entire explainer. Section 4. The Magic of Perspective. Cognitive Reframing in Action. All right, here is the crucial breakthrough. The young man didn't perform a miracle. He just connected the dots in a different way. He pointed out that her framing was completely backwards. He told her, when it's sunny, instead of mourning the raincoats, choose to be thrilled that your fabric-selling daughter is thriving in the clear weather. And when it rains, instead of mourning the fabric, choose to be so happy that your raincoat-selling daughter is making a fortune. He didn't change a single fact about her life. He merely shifted her focus to the daughter who was benefiting from the present moment. And bam! Look at the result. See that pure, wide-eyed joy? The absolute realization washing over her face. She lets out this big, ah, that universal sound of a paradigm shifting. It's described as realizing a truly great magic, and you can see it in her bright eyes and her massive smile. This right here is the ultimate visual representation of emotional liberation. The heavy weight of years of chronic anxiety just vanished in an instant. What she just experienced is perfectly captured by a psychological concept called cognitive reframing. It's the active process of shifting your mindset to view a situation from a more positive or at least a more helpful perspective. I really want to stress this heavily. Her physical circumstances didn't change one bit. The daughters still have the exact same jobs. The weather still fluctuates completely out of her control. The only thing that changed was the lens through which she viewed reality. Seeing these two expressions side by side really drives the point home. On one side, we have a woman crushed by the weight of her own negative projections, suffering deeply. On the other, the exact same woman, totally freed and joyful. Comparing these two proves unequivocally that happiness isn't about controlling the weather, or your circumstances, or even the people around you. It's about taking control of how you look at those things. It's about choosing to focus on the sunlight hitting the fabric rather than the shadow falling on the raincoats. Which brings us to our final challenge for you. Tomorrow, when you inevitably face a rainy day in your own life, which daughter's stall will you choose to look at? We all have rainy days. We all have situations that feel totally out of our control. But you always have the power to choose your frame. You can stare right at the loss, or you can turn your head and look for the hidden win. The choice, and ultimately your happiness, is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Explainer. Take this mindset with you this week, and I'll catch you next time.